Ladies and gentlemen, the situation in the Amhara region of Ethiopia is currently marked by intense fighting between the Ethiopian National Defense Force, ENDF, and Amhara Fano forces on multiple fronts. Reports indicate that the fighting is extremely fierce, and it has escalated to a full-scale offensive by the ENDF against the Amhara Fano forces. The ENDF has deployed a substantial number of fresh troops equipped with heavy weaponry to the Amhara region, and the latest updates from the battlefield are both grim and concerning. One particularly significant development is the outbreak of intense combat in the outskirts of Dabat. According to reports emanating from the Fano forces, they have taken a proactive and resolute stance against the ENDF and its allied forces. This formidable Fano coalition is led by Major Bai Kengao, Major General Habte Volder, Major Habte Volder, Major General Loso, and is further bolstered by the support of the local population. Their collective efforts have yielded major victories on this front, while the ENDF is reported to have suffered severe losses. Against the backdrop of the relentless hostilities, there have been persistent rumors circulating about negotiations between the Amhara and Ethiopian governments. However, a statement attributed to the Amhara Fano forces dismisses the notion that any tangible agreement or negotiation has been reached to address the ongoing conflict. They emphasize that the diaspora civil society, often speculated to be involved in these negotiations, lacks the authority to negotiate on behalf of the Fano forces. In a separate development, the Ethiopian ambassador has issued a robust statement strongly condemning the remarks made by the UN Under-Secretary-General and Special Advisor on the Prevention of Genocide. The ambassador characterizes these remarks as baseless and questions the effectiveness of the Pretoria Peace Agreement, a document intended to secure lasting peace in the region. The statement reaffirms Ethiopia's unwavering commitment to the implementation of this peace agreement, despite the tumultuous circumstances on the ground. In light of the prevailing conditions, it is an inescapable truth that a war is currently raging in the Amhara region, with the situation escalating rapidly. Apart from this, according to reports of journalists recently, I found myself reluctantly exposed to Abiy Ahmed's speeches, and I couldn't help but hear about his recent invitation to the diaspora to return to our country. This raises the question of his true motives behind this invitation, beyond the rhetoric of employment, investment, and supposed magical benefits that he tends to spew in his usual nonsensical manner. While one can only speculate on his true intentions, it's possible that he aims to showcase the proliferation of concentration camps that Abiy Ahmed has meticulously constructed for those daring to question his authority. This includes not only mild-mannered journalists, erudite intellectuals, and outspoken opinion makers, but even audacious members of parliament who have dared to ask uncomfortable questions. Abiy Ahmed wants the returning diaspora to believe that he has spared no expense to ensure the luxurious stay of those he has selected for these concentration camps. He has introduced them to diseases like cholera and provided them with a balanced diet, which essentially means one piece of bread a day. The accommodations are so cramped that there's no room to lie down, and access to medical treatment remains elusive. Some detainees even develop new ailments, while others continue to suffer from previous ones acquired during their previous stays in Abiy Ahmed's unique facilities. As an extra special treatment, these guests have the privilege of encountering Abiy Ahmed's personal team of Oromuma thugs, who generously assist with re-education, using methods that involve a generous amount of physical persuasion. These actions and other grotesque displays seem to be part of Abiy Ahmed's insatiable desire for attention and his deluded sense of self-importance, which seems to convince him that he's a star, All in all, it's no surprise that this clown is calling on the diaspora, presumably to witness and applaud these so-called wondrous achievements, all of which reek of childish behavior. But there's more to the story. The returning diaspora may also have the unique opportunity to witness the dire conditions in which Abiy Ahmed's fortunate guests are detained. This includes journalists, parliamentarians, opinion makers, and intellectuals who find themselves in remote desert prisons, strategically located far from their families to ensure their uninterrupted vacation while keeping the world in the dark about their plight. Furthermore, Abiy Ahmed has swiftly herded thousands of Amhara youth and others, mainly from the capital, Addis Ababa, into makeshift prisons and concentration camps. Here, they are subjected to hunger and disease, receiving not even a dry piece of bread a day, as per reports. These once vibrant youth have been reduced to skin and bones, enduring what Abiy Ahmed considers a lavish diet. Abiy Ahmed has even transformed schools into prisons, as he seems to believe that education is obsolete in his utopia. Repurposing schools as prisons, he clearly views educated individuals as a threat to his regime, with a few exceptions, including Berhanu Nega, whose education seems primarily focused on the art of being a chameleon in pursuit of power. Under Berhanu Nega's leadership, education in the country has been driven into the ground, aligning with Abiy Ahmed's disdain for education, much like the previous regime, the TPLF. These disturbing events may not come as a surprise, as Abiy Ahmed and his Oromuma thugs appear to be staunch adherents of 16th century superstitions and outdated beliefs. They seem oblivious to the significant progress in knowledge and human development over the past 4 centuries. Moreover, they seem to prefer poverty and ignorance, as these conditions have proven to be highly profitable for them. They exploit the desperately poor by introducing them to a perverse prosperity gospel, a cultish religion that facilitates theft from the impoverished while maintaining a deep disdain for them. This religion also helps manipulate the poor, turning them against each other, resulting in a triple victory of cruelty, exploitation, and division for Abiy Ahmed and his gang of Oromuma-driven thievery. So, what is the real reason behind Abiy Ahmed's call for the diaspora to return? It could be to fill vacant spots in his luxurious concentration camps and perhaps to seize their possessions, including foreign exchange, which he could use to purchase ammunition for his campaign of violence and murder in the Amhara region or to further his extravagant projects. Considering the ongoing campaign of violence and murder, it's astonishing to think that anyone in the diaspora possessing even a modicum of intelligence would willingly return. Doing so would risk incarceration in the unjust system of injustice that Abiy Ahmed has created. Many exemplary and selfless Ethiopians, mostly Amharas, have suffered or are on the brink of death, afflicted by life-threatening illnesses. Who in their right mind would contemplate returning under such dire circumstances? It defies reason. The daily horrors unleashed by Abiy Ahmed over the past 5 years are difficult to witness. He is perpetrating even more heartless acts of violence and murder in the Amhara region, and speaking out against these atrocities would undoubtedly lead to imprisonment and extreme brutality, subjecting individuals to living nightmares similar to those endured by journalists, politicians, intellectuals, students, and countless others. In light of these circumstances, Abiy Ahmed's call for the diaspora to return is baffling. It raises questions about the intelligence of those who would heed such a call. Rather than returning to a living nightmare, it makes more sense to support those who are already in the country, fighting against Abiy Ahmed's corrupt and violent regime. The Amhara freedom fighters and Fanos, in particular, are well positioned to checkmate him and liberate all Ethiopians from these exploitative thugs. For anyone considering going back, thinking they will gain something, it's essential to recognize the risks, including potential loss of life. Abiy Ahmed's call for the diaspora to return seems to disregard the harsh realities on the ground. It is far more sensible to support those working to bring about positive change and to stand in solidarity against the injustices being committed by Abiy Ahmed and his regime